thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, you know? They were getting a little bit yippy. Bond market is very tricky. I was watching it, but if you look at it now, it's beautiful. China wants to make a deal. They just don't know how quite to go about it.
So the tariffs kicked in yesterday morning, and by nightfall, Trump had hit pause. A 90-day pause for every country except China. No details, no real explanation, just a pause. So what changed? For a president whose brand is rooted in toughness, this is a rare concession. Trump's been hyping up this tariff plan for weeks, promising to go full steam ahead. There was no backing down, not even when the markets tanked. So what prompted the sudden U-turn?
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, you know? They were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid, unlike these champions, because we have a big job to do. No other president would have done what I did. No other president. I know the presidents, they wouldn't have done it. And it had to be done.
You heard him. Trump says people were getting yippy. That's the word he used, yippy. But chances are, this was not the only reason. So let's look at the factors that led to this U-turn. Number one, US debt bonds. The trade war hit them hard. It triggered a panic sell-off of US bonds. And what are bonds? You see, governments need money to run a country, but they don't always have enough of that money. So they borrow money by selling something that is called bonds. And who buys these bonds? Individuals, companies, even foreign governments. They can all buy US government bonds, or any government bonds for that matter. In return, the government pays them interest. That's the long and short of a government bond. Now, US government bonds are usually seen as a good investment. People love buying US bonds because they're seen as a safe haven. Investors flock to them during tough times. So the bond market is like a canary in a coal mine, but this time something spooked the canary. Trump's tariffs kicked off a trade war. It made investors nervous, so many of them started selling their US bonds. When you sell, bond prices drop. And what happens when bond prices drop? Interest rates go up. Basically, it costs the government more to borrow money. There aren't enough people buying their bonds. And that signals just one thing. Investors were losing confidence in the US economy. So Donald Trump was not really worried about the markets collapsing, but the bond sell-off, that was a different story altogether. If it kept going, his entire agenda could have become financially untenable. So behind the scenes, Trump officials were panicking. His own Treasury Secretary, by the way, called the situation, and I'm quoting, uncomfortable. Looks like it got a little too uncomfortable.
Bond market is very tricky. I was watching it, but if you look at it now, it's beautiful. The bond market right now is beautiful. But yeah, I saw last night where people were getting a little queasy. I think everything had, well, the big move wasn't what I did today. The big move was what I did on Liberation Day.
So that was reason number one, the bond market sell-off that threatened the financial stability of the US government. Reason number two, Trump was losing political capital. While markets were sending signals, Trump's phone lines were melting. CEOs were frantically dialing the White House. Republicans were seeking clarity. Constituents were asking for answers, and all of them had the same warning. Their patience had limits. With midterm elections next year and public sentiment souring, the cost of staying the course was rising by the hour.
You have to have flexibility. I could say, here's a wall, and I'm going to go through that wall. I'm going to go through it no matter what. And keep going, and you can't go through the wall. Sometimes you have to be able to go under the wall, around the wall, or over the wall. These guys know that better than anybody, right?
Which brings us to reason number three, negotiations. Ironically, it was the success of the tariff threat that gave Trump an off-ramp. The tariffs jolted countries into picking up the phone. They all wanted to talk to Trump. In true art of the deal fashion, that's the whole point. make a big move, rattle the room, then wait for them to come to you. In Trumpian logic, that looks like a victory. So for him, this is not a pause. This is a tactical recalibration, a pause that could give way to 100 potential trade deals.
A deal's going to be made with China. A deal's going to be made with every one of them. And there'll be fair deals. I just want fair. There will be fair deals for everybody. But they weren't fair to the United States. They were sucking us dry.
This tells you all you need to know about Donald Trump. He is a man of gut decisions, calibrated more by cable news than cabinet meetings. Policy is often reactive, not proactive. Negotiation is a performance, not a process. 1 week, the world braces for a trade war. The next, it's a pause and a negotiation bonanza. So what happens next? Will the tariffs come back after 90 days? Maybe, maybe not. No one knows for sure. But what happened here says something bigger. Trade wars are not just about tariffs. They're also about timing, perception, and politics, and sometimes even the boldest of plans have to wait.
Greeting you with aloha and namaste.
No, I love India.
Presence, occupation of a territory by another country pertains to India, what we saw in Kashmir.
How do you see Trump's America?
Yes, the current administration behaves differently from the previous administration.
Are you saying that there are foreign powers who are trying to bring down the current government in Syria?
Exactly. Bluntly, Iran, maybe Russia too.
Prime Minister Modi committed to South-South, cooperation.
Not over 50%.
Is Ukraine prepared to pay the price for that peace?
No compromises at the cost of territorial integrity and sovereignty.